You will never take a stroll on the streets of Kumasi or even in Obuasi, where I was born and raised, without meeting one or two Kwenkwen sellers. Kwenkwen is made from unpolished rice, absolutely delicious and nutritious, and the name Kwenkwen is actually derived from the sounds the vendors make as they hit the spoon they serve your food with on the sides of the cast iron pot, or that is saying, make that Kwen Kwen sound. If I were to describe Kwenkwen, I would say it is a beautiful cross between wachi and jollof, and today I walk you through it. Let's do some cooking. So for our ingredients, I have here some shallots, already peeled, washed and ready to be used. I have here some Dawadawa. This is made from locust beans. It's going to bring a lot of flavor and aroma to Kwenkwen. I also have here some momone. This is cured and fermented fish, going to combine with the Dawadawa to bring authentic flavors. I have some ginger and garlic. Garlic not so traditional, but I want it, so I'm going to add it in here. I have 2 scotch bonnet peppers. I need some spice in here, so there. I have some herrings. This is very dry herrings pieces. I'm going to actually break them into smaller pieces, just about this big, and it's going to go in the rice. I have here some black peppercorns going to be blended. Some anise, which we call nkete in Ghana. I have some negro peppers called hwentia. I also have 1 Maggi shrimp tablet. Right here, this is shrimp powder, but I grounded it to be coarse, so you have a lot of texture in here. I have my tomato paste, and this is tomato puree. This is tomatoes that I have already cooked down, so blended and cooked down from my garden, portioned out. This is 2 cups of tomatoes. I have my eggs here. And then the main ingredient, of course, which is our rice. This is unpolished rice. This is similar to what Nigerians call ofada rice. It is hard to work with. I have already cleaned it as much as I can, gotten all the chaff and all the unwholesome things that you would typically find, but I have to really wash it well as well. Kwenkwen goes so well with your wele or cow skin, so I have some cow skin. It has lots of beef inside as well, so this is pre-cooked with some stock in it, and I am going to put that in my stew. I will be cooking some beans on the side, so my beans has been soaked, ready to be boiled. And I also have here my shea butter. This is pure, no fragrance added. This is real cooking grade shea butter, straight from the northern region of Ghana. I'm going to be using that. That is the original ingredient they use to make Kwenkwen. So the main protein in my dish is going to be fish. The cow skin is for the texture and the excitement of eating that, but I'm going to be frying this. And this is some sea bass, pre-cleaned. I'm just going to cut them up, season, and fry. I'm going to start off by cutting my shallots. Kwenkwen is also referred to as shinkafa. Some of us will also say chinkafa. Shinkafa actually means rice, and this meal originates from the northern parts of Ghana. I believe introduced to us from the Northerners who settled in the Ashanti region, typically Kumasi. So these I'm going to fry in the oil to start my stew. So I'm going to save these and then get the rest of the ingredients blended. So these I'm just roughly chopping, and I'm going to blend. All right, I'm going to put my shallots here in the blender. Pack it in. I'm going to add my 2 peppers, peppercorns, anise or nkete. I'm going to cut up my ginger and add. Now I'm just going to add some water to help with the blending. Cover and blend. Okay. Kwenkwen is typically made in a cast iron pot. I'm using cast aluminum because that is what I have considering where I live. I'm going to take some shea butter now, the very purest form, right here into my pot to dissolve. Now that my shea butter is almost all melted, I'm going to add in my momone, which I have cut into 3 little pieces, just so it cooks or disintegrates faster. This is going to just melt in here in the shea butter, and it's going to bring flavor. Fish is frying gorgeously, and I'm going to add in here now my sliced shallots. Going to fry together with the momone. Onions and momone have fried gorgeously. Onions are golden at this point, and almost all the momone is disintegrated. And now I'll add in my blended pepper and spices. I'm going to rinse my blender and add that in as well. I've rinsed my beans. I'm going to add some water, then boil it. I'm going to add my tomato puree. And I'm going to let this cook for a while before I add the tomato paste. I have my dawadawa. I'm just going to cut a little piece. This is how it looks on the inside. I'm going to cut. Use about this much. Our stew is cooking gorgeously. I'm going to flake the dawadawa. Now I'm going to stir it into my stew. And this is eventually going to disintegrate. It's very soft. But it's going to be even better when you just bite into little pieces as you eat your kwenkwen. Little particles are definitely going to be left behind. At this point, I'm also going to add my tomato paste. Mix it in here. And I'm just smashing the dawadawa as I see it. I'm going to cover again, partially. Checking on my beans. Still hard. I'll add a little bit of salt, just about this much. Stir. and I'll cover right back. I'm going to get my fish ready for frying. I'm seasoning with some salt. I'm also going to crack a little bit of pepper on it. Just about this much. I'm going to add some garlic powder, just a little bit of it, and some onion powder. I'm always generous with that. All right, and now I'm going to just coat my fish with this. I'm going to let this marinate for a while before I fry. Okay, I'm going to just crack my negro peppers just so it opens up and can release all the flavors and fragrances. Chicken on our stew. I'll add in my negro peppers. I'll also add in my shrimp powder. Stir. So I'll add about half a cup of water. This is just to bring the stew back to boiling. I've also flaked my herrings. I'm going to add that in here. My Maggi shrimp. And now I'm going to add just a little bit more water. I'm also going to add my salt. I need to thin it out. So I've added about 2 cups of water now, extra. This way it gets a chance to just take its sweet time to cook. Flavors, flavor power. Ooh, wow. Oh, this, you can right away know it's authentic. Authenticity, no, yeah, strong. I bet my beans is all cooked now. Almost burning, but it's all cooked. Just look, perfect, perfect. I'll bring it up the stove with no moisture. So this goes on the side of your kwenkwen. So instead of the beans going in like wache, for kwenkwen, the beans is on the side. I'm going to boil some water to cook my spaghetti. Water has come to a boil. I'm going to cook my pasta now. So to my boiling water, I'm going to add a little bit of salt, some avocado oil, or whatever oil you have. This is just so the pasta does not stick. So you're pretty much cooking it just like you would with any kind of spaghetti. I'm going to be cooking angel hair spaghetti. I'll be breaking it into 3. Just a little spaghetti. Just stir so they don't stick. Trying to separate them. Now let's get ready to wash our rice. Just doing it this way, pouring it from high to get some of the dust or particles off. Now I'm going to start washing it. Like I said, this rice comes very, very dirty. You really want to rub it. We're going to be rinsing it about 10 times, if not more. Like I said, I really cleaned this rice myself very thoroughly, at least off gravel and anything else that I could physically pick. But with this rice, the gravel, little bits of stones always stay on the bottom. So I'm going to dredge my rice. Typically they call it miuchasu. I'm not very skilled with that using the calabash, but I'm just going to swirl my rice in the water and then collect from the top. Whatever else is not wanted, the gravel and everything else is most typically going to settle on the bottom. So skim through. Make sure you're not seeing anything that you're going to regret biting into, because trust me, the stuff that you're potentially going to bite into if you don't wash your rice well, you just don't even want to imagine. This is all that is left on the bottom of my bowl. Pretty much no gravel. And at this point, I'm just going to pretty much discard this. I don't want to be greedy and end up with something I don't desire to eat. Spaghetti is done. Almost all moisture washed off it already. I'm just going to go ahead and strain it. Pour it in here. Stew is pretty much all cooked now. I'm going to split it. So some of it is going to be for cooking the rice, and then we'll have a little bit on the side that the meat will cook in. So I'm going to scoop. I'm going to pour my meat in here, and then I'll bring this to a boil. Going to cover partially, just let a little room to vent, and I'll let it simmer. Now to the remaining half of my stew, I'll be adding 6 cups of water. I think I'm just going to save 2, so more like 4 cups for now. I'm going to cover and let this boil. Our Kwenkwen water has come to a boil, and it's a perfect time for us to add our rice. Stir. Now I'll add some more salt. To make sure it cooks perfect, I'm going to add 1 more cup of water. So pretty much added all our 6 cups of water at this point, but I just wanted to err on the side of caution. Now I think it's gonna be perfect. I'm going to cover and let it cook. Stew is good at this point. Meats have absorbed some sauce, and the flavors have mingled. I'm going to set this aside and fry my fish. Cooking beautifully. Just going to cover with parchment paper before the lid so it gets to trap all the moisture and cook it to be soft. Parchment paper always does the trick. Oil is hot. I'm going to just sprinkle a little dusting of flour on my fish before I fry. I'm gonna toss it. Fish perfectly fried, coming out of the oil. So I'm making the veggie part, and green leaf lettuce is what is typically used for it by the vendors in Ghana. So that's what we have here. Pre-washed. Just going to try to get it into little tiny shreds. I'm going to layer my veggies. I want to mix so you have a perfect balance of the green part and the white part of the lettuce. Now I'm going to top the lettuce with some carrots, which I have julienned. Some onions. I'm going to be using a combination of red and white onions. And now I'm also going to add some sliced tomatoes to this. At this point, you can say it's looking delicious and nutritious. Quite prettier than you would ever find at the vendors, but that's why we cook at home. You really, 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 really ought to try this. Just look at how gorgeous. Just look at that. Perfect. Aroma, taste, everything on point.
Delicious. 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 Can you smell the aroma? Yeah. From Kwachi West Kitchen. Yeah. Delicious, yeah, yeah. Ooh. delicious, yeah. Delicious, da da da, delicious, delicious, da da, delicious, yeah. Delicious. Can you smell the aroma?
So good. I hope you try this. I know you will love it.
What she was kitchen, yeah.